Good morning, good morning, good morning. Excuse me. And here I am in another location. It's kind of like where in the world is Carmen San Diego, except where in the world is Rhino, right? So, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let us get started. Not going to be too long of a call today because I've done much better in just synthesizing it down. So, a couple of things. For the life of me, I don't know why I need a doctorate degree to use Salesforce. So the email I sent out this morning was supposed to go out to many, many more than it did, and it didn't. So I'm actually going to the email today, duplicate it, and send the same exact email out tomorrow. With our Salesforce automations, when the email gets sent out, there's a file. It's called launch email because that was our first email with Salesforce, so we just kept it that way. Then there's all these automations that go ahead and recalculate how many emails are both in contacts and accounts, and right before the email gets sent out, updates the contact list, which should be a number much higher than it was today. I thought it did that, and it didn't do that. And today's email I was really quite pleased with. It was really light and friendly, and for those that did not know us, I thought would be, hey Frida, I just emailed you by the way, would be a nice little introduction. So I'm going to do the same email again tomorrow. RHINO, another all-time high, which is pretty cool. So I've been working on so let me kind of pull back a little bit. So this week I am working on all AI different stuff to see if I could stack it together to make something that's kind of super duper. That has evolved in where I'm using the AI stuff to go ahead and create a new lander for RHINO Bucks, and subsequently a new lander for RHINO Street. Now, I did go ahead and find this AI Synthesia that is like AI models, and they have great voice, they're animated, their mouth moves, and you could tell it's a bot, kind of, sort of, but it's really very good. You got a nice background, nice music behind it, and what it allows me to do is create a very, very well-defined message that's orated, that's presented quite perfectly. Now, on top of that, it's kind of led me down a tunnel of promptology. And I did share this last week that I do think one of the biggest industries that nobody knows of yet is going to be promptology, because AI is going to be quite accessible to everyone. And the key to it is, okay, if you have a car and I have a car, what makes my car better than yours? And maybe it's the gas I put in, maybe it's my ability to drive, maybe it's my experience on the road. But just because you have the best thing, if you give Gordon Ramsay a filet mignon and you give, I don't know, my son a filet mignon, I suspect that the dish that they cook is going to be quite different. It's because, sure, you could have the best thing, but now what do you do with it, right? That's why there's an industry called cooking. That's why there's an industry called race car driving. That's why there's an industry called fill in the blank. It's not about the product. It's about your ability to do something with the product. Yeah, no, Dr. Smith, I agree with you. So we're having this big event, a webinar in 2 weeks that we're really trying to build invitations for, and I'm going to do more and more to build that up. But I think the value proposition of it's going to be that not only are we going to be able to introduce RHINO Bucks in a way that is very deserving of what we've done so far, because we're going to have 3 months of case study of an asset that only goes up during a time that everything is crashing, right? But I then think I want to go ahead and offer promptology as like a freebie, right? We went ahead and built this course. This is why it's so important. Sign up for the webinar and you'll go ahead and get this course when the webinar is completed, something like that. Because the reality is, what I did yesterday in building the new RHINO Bucks lander, which is not done yet, I'm actually still working on it today, it was amazing. I was able to go ahead and find the best what are they called? Decks, right? Like that you go ahead and present a company or you go an IPO or whatnot. The best decks that have ever been written. And then I was able to synthesize down all those decks, what were the 5 elements that they all used that was the best. Then I was able to go ahead and take each one of those elements and go ahead and research how RHINO Bucks fits into that element. Now, I didn't have to research it in such a way that I had to then synthesize it myself. I just copy and pasted like 1,000 words and put it into that, in which case I did that 5 times. I then told the algorithm, RAI, write me a 4-minute presentation. No, act as a speechwriter. I want you to write me a 4-minute presentation meant to persuade the viewer to go ahead and enroll in RhinoBox. And then a whole bunch of other prompts, but it was all based on all of the content, the 6 or 7 hours of work that I put into it. And of course, it's not that easy, because when I did that, I got a whole bunch of results that I didn't like. But then I started getting closer to what I wanted. And the point is, if I knew what to have done from the beginning, I would have saved myself 7 hours. But I didn't, but I learned it. And I do think it's going to be this type of work, this type of research, that's going to take up the majority of people's time. Because you could say, well, if you have an AI that you could ask anything, well, your work is done. There's nothing needed to do. There's nothing further needed anymore. And that's not true, because all the results are going to be based on the inputs. Sure, you have an output machine, but what's your inputs? If you're going to make a smoothie, yeah, you have a blender, great. What are you going to put in it? Because what the smoothie tastes like is going to be a direct result of the ingredients you put in. So that's what AI is. It's a blender. We got a blender, great. That doesn't mean you can just, everything's done. Now you have to go focus on the inputs. And that's what promptology is. So we actually purchased all the domains, promptology.ai, promptology.co, promptology.io, promptology.biz. And it was amazing to me that I was able to buy them. It was like, okay, I'll take free money, right? So we're going to build on that more, but I do believe when I'm able to go ahead and show you the lander that we've completed, when it's done today, you'll look at it and say, wow. Because on top of it, not only did it write me the speech, and of course I'm editing it and still going through it and finding new things to put in it, right? Because I want to make sure it's perfect. But then I'm going to take the speech, upload it into the AI and say, I want you to act as my marketing director. Here is the speech that we're going to display on our marketing page. I want you to give me the highest optimized suggestions for what that lander should look like. And then dependent on the speech, it's going to be able to understand exactly what we're doing. It's going to be able to make everything congruent. Okay, he said green broccoli over here. Maybe the background should be green over here, but then there should be broccoli. It's going to tell us all of that stuff. And the cool part about that is it takes out human error and human bias. So I'm a really thoughtful person, for better or worse, right? Like sometimes I overthink things, sometimes I don't think enough, right? So that's neither here nor there. But when I'm creating a lander page, I'm creating it in my likeness. Well, by definition of creating Rhino, I seem to be a fairly unique person. We're doing something no one else is doing. So then if you extrapolate that definition further, if I'm making something in the vision of what I like, but then also simultaneously saying that I'm different and others aren't like me, then the calculation is how many people are actually going to like that lander. And I'm completely oblivious to it because I like the lander. But me liking the lander isn't enough because I'm one of one, right? So what the AI allows me to do is when it goes ahead and creates these algorithms and suggestions and things like that, it's doing it in the looks and likenesses of the percentages, right? So if social behavioral science says 90% of people like puppies, then there's a time for puppies, whatnot, then maybe it'll go ahead and include puppies, while I'm someone that has 2 cats, right? Like I don't not like puppies, I just don't have the time to walk them. So it's stuff like that. So I'm gonna see where the rabbit hole, as Dr. Smith has shared, takes me today. I'm also going to be sending out emails for everyone to upgrade to the next plan. I've noticed that because I've taken my foot off the pedal and the economy is a little whatever, a lot of people have actually lowered their plan. I think we have an average plan of like $19.40, which is a straight path down from $26.90, which is totally alarming, right? Like almost $7 and just in a straight line. And that's a confluence of a couple of things, right? We've hit a plateau and we haven't grown new users, which again, like we shared yesterday, Well, that's a good thing to understand and to know that. Now, what are you going to do about it? And I spent the whole day creating this whole new lander and proptology and whatever. And whether it works or doesn't, something's being done and something will work. So I'm not worried about that, but it catches my attention. And you got to remember, on 350 members, $7 comes out to roughly like $2,200, $2,300, $2,400 a week. That's a big number because that's the money that would be going into the coin. And conversely, the difficulty with the coin is as the coin moves up higher in price, well, then all the coin that everyone owns is worth more money. So when you have people redeeming it, that's fine. The money's there, but it's a bigger redemption than we were accustomed to when the coin was $1, $1.50, and $2. Again, all is fine. But when we go ahead and see such a precipitous drop off from $27 to $19, that extra $2,300, $2,400, $2,500, that's what it's purposed for. So again, Anthony, what are you going to do about it? So one of the things that we're doing is building this webinar because we need to go ahead and invite and share with more people. I love that Deborah's in Palm Bay now. It's always been Celebration. Now it's Palm Bay. Welcome, Deb. But then on top of that, we want to go ahead and make sure that everyone that's a part of it knows that we're doing this as a team. It's not like Anthony's doing it by himself. I'm simply stewarding and leading us. If you're sitting at $1 still, I don't want to be rude, right? Because this is the case for some people, right? Like Anthony, I don't have money like that. I'm on a fixed income, or I live in another country and the currency and blah, blah, blah. And not blah, blah, blah in a disrespectful way, but I'm saying there are reasons. But I want to say for the vast majority, like 80% of people, if you're on the dollar plan, you can be on the $5 plan. Like you can move up to $5. And the fact that you don't, I don't know the reason for it, right? Because obviously a coin goes up every single day. Anytime you would have moved up, it would have been the right decision because you would have made more money. So I don't actually know the reasons. And I try to figure them out and I try to solicit them, but nobody seems to share them with me. So I always have ideas of what to do next. But sometimes it's like, okay, I can't even give away money. And when you can't give away money, what do you do? So we just need to build our membership more. That's always the number one solution for anything is just eliminate one Starbucks weekly. Yeah, just build more membership. And honestly, so actually, when we've been sending out our emails, and I always add new emails into our system, and I've kind of been like, how come I'm not seeing the numbers move at all? Well, I just figured it out today. Those emails aren't being sent out. So we have like 25,000 emails just sitting there that have never been sent out. And to those emails, what are those people like? What do they think? So again, we're going to resend the email from today, tomorrow. I got to fix why they're not sending. And then we'll just take it from there. But all in all, everything's great. I'm here at another undisclosed location, and I'm already behind on the day. So I love everyone. Frida, good question, yeah. Frida, I'm gonna go ahead and get on the Zoom with you now. And that's it. I love everyone. I'll see you later. Bye.